Hey guys, just section of violence here. Man, this is it's been a busy week, man. So I gotta get through this card. We got Cage Warriors. We got um, I think we already did Braves, so I can take that out of the way. Um, but yeah, it's we got Cage Warriors. We got Aries done. I think all we have left is LFA and Cage Warriors. I'll get LFA done separately, so for now we'll just do CFFC, Cage Warriors. Um, yeah, so we got Cage Warriors to start. We got Ginting versus Sean Johnson. Sean Johnson had pretty good scrambling ability. Stayed out of submissions. Got hit quite a bit, but managed to stay composed. Land some shots back against Cody Kovanchuk. I think Sean Johnson is game. He got finished by rear naked choke by a 4-0 guy. He's been facing nothing but 4-0 guys or undefeated guys. Um, pretty good, pretty experienced. Emperor Ginting is a Indonesian fraud in the making. The Wolfman is his nickname. He lost his Zao Pussy round one submission. I see this as a Sean Johnson win. Very nervous for this one because Indonesians are either KO or bust. So I'm gonna go with Johnson here. But it could get interesting. Moving on, we have Johnny Gill versus James Settle. James Settle is pretty well rounded. He has some decent jiu-jitsu. His wrestling's not existent, and his striking's pretty noodly. But it's okay. He has underrated power too, so I think he can hurt Johnny Gill in the feet. I'm gonna go with James Settle here winning I'm gonna go with Johnny Gill here winning a decision. But James Settle's plus 600 is just ridiculous value, and I'm gonna ride that home to the bank, see how it works out for me. Moving on, we have Xavier Vines versus Miguel Pemberton. So Xavier Vines, he's a very uh, tenacious grappler. He's not very good, but he's all right. Miguel Pimbert has already faced tenacious grappler, taken him to a decision. I think Pimbert can do that again. If not lose a decision, if he can actually maybe steal a decision. I'm gonna lean Pimbert here, landing the more volume on the feet, but it is a really close fight. I think Vines could steal it as well. So. Don't want to play this fight, but I lean Pimbert here. Moving on, we have Diego Vasquez versus Sean Rose. Sean Rose looked like crap at the weigh-ins. For that reason, I'm going to side here with Vasquez. No, I'm just joking. Vasquez, I feel like has more ways to win. But again, these are two heavyweights that aren't too credentialed, so don't put too much on this one. I just lean Vasquez here. Moving on, we have Enrique Montalva versus Manuel Medina. Medina's looked pretty good in his last fight. Got a decent finish. I honestly think he has a good shot of winning this fight. Montalva's nothing special. I feel like once he gets taken down, it's a wrap. You got beat by Fran Breen. Got to go with Medina here. I feel like that's a pretty safe pick here. Moving on, we have Brandon Carrillo versus Corbin Allen. I got to go with Brandon Carrillo here. I feel like he has more tools to win this fight. I believe he fought Bryce Meredith and got rear naked choked. Well, he did put up a decent scramble in this fight. I do think Carrillo has what it takes to win a decision here. So I'm going to go with Carrillo by unanimous decision, but it is an interesting fight for sure. Moving on, we have Ronald Sihan versus Andrew Johnson Cabrera. So if it wasn't for the physique of Cabrera, I might actually have to take him. But Ronald Sehan looked like he was there to fight, and he's probably dangerous on the feet. So I'll lean Sehan. But man, this is not a fight you want to bet on or be confident in. So watch and bet with caution. And yeah, moving on. We got Anthony Orozco versus Benjamin Orozco. So But Anthony Orozco is extremely talented, picks his shots really nicely. Good ground and pound. I really like this guy. He's very, very talented. He is experienced as an amateur, whereas his opponent, Orozco, I don't know if they're related, but I doubt it, is also undefeated as an amateur. He hasn't faced anyone to the level of him yet. Um, I'm gonna go with Anthony Orozco here. I got him at plus value. Don't know how I snagged that, but I gotta go with Anthony here. I feel like he's the more talented of the two. I gotta go with Anthony. Moving on, we got Bobby Winther versus Anthony Zaragoza. I'm gonna go with Bobby Winther here. Maybe dominating the action once it hits the ground. Wrestlers aren't amazing once their back is on the ground. I feel like Bobby Winther has a good top pressure and good control. I'm gonna go with Winther here, but I wouldn't be surprised if Zaragoza somehow makes this funky with his wrestling background. Moving on, we have Jason Blair versus Amir. I can't even know his first name. Hassan Daya. So Hassan Zada is a very interesting striker. He makes it interesting. Likes to win decisions. He's not bad. He can be dangerous. With his front chokes. He's very dangerous. Um, Skirting on the outside. I think Chasen Blair is a good test for him. He's going to come forward, look to take him out. I feel like if he can't do that early, this fight can become very interesting. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Chasen Blair, but I'm not confident. And I think Hazanda can maybe steal it with the later rounds. Interesting fight though. Moving on, we have this fight got canceled. So Roberto Hernandez versus Trevin Jones. I got Roberto Hernandez here. I think it's just a passing of the torch. Hernandez is very dangerous with his power, good jiu-jitsu, good grappling. I think he's just going to out-control Jones and win a decision here. It's an interesting fight, but I just think Hernandez. Um, this is a fight for Hernandez to get in the UFC, and I don't think he's going to miss out on this opportunity to win. Yeah, but it's definitely a fun fight for sure. If I can give you guys my top five picks on the card. My number one pick would have to be um, Orozo, Medina number two, Winter number three, Cia number four, Blair number five, uh, or Vasquez number five. Alrighty, guys, moving on towards CFFC. Interesting card we have. I'm gonna skim through it really quick. We have Hunter Starner versus Fumi Nakuta. Fumi Nakuta is a big star, flyweight, coming up to bantamweight on short notice to fight Hunter Starner. Should be a free win other than the size difference. It's my only worry. But we'll see how that comes into play tomorrow. I got Nick Galante taking on Jafriel Marti. Talent beats athleticism, in my opinion, but we'll see. Frank Wells versus Robert Woodseg. Frank Wells has faced decent competition, is actually a decent prospect, or not a decent prospect, a decent talent, whereas Robert Woodseg is a can. Excel Lishi is another guy who's fighting, I think hometown, fighting Mardin Velasquez, someone who looked pretty good on the scale. Looks like he's there to scrap. I'm gonna go with Leshy here. It seems like a setup win for him, but I feel like this could be a setup that's gone wrong. So be careful with this one. Moving on, we have Anthony Delem versus Keith Speed. Pretty straightforward matchup. Delem's the hometown guy. Speed's terrible. 5-6. Who is he beat? It's even good. Charles Bennett. That's his last win in bare knuckle. Um, you know, I just you just can't get behind this. But yeah, I got Anthony Delem here pretty easily. Um, and then we have moving on, we have Wilson Joni versus Wendell Arujo. Other than getting chinned, this is pretty much a Wilson fight again. Pretty straightforward. Wilson's a prospect the UFC's been looking at. He's a bit of a fraud, but I do think Wendell Arujo's not the guy to expose him. I think Wilson's going to run through him again quite easily. Moving on, we have Sean Felton versus Robert Verchino. So I think Verchino runs through him, but at the same time, the size difference, the weigh-ins, physique, everything scares me. So I'm going to stay off this one. But I do think Robert Verchino runs through this guy. I think Sean Felton has trained with some good guys and his experience. But other than that, I think Robert Verchino is a very talented up and comer. I do think he has what it takes to win this fight. But yeah, moving on, we have Michael Billups versus Thomas Picciano. Interesting fight. Picciano is another hometown guy. Good grappling. I do think Billups has good wrestling, so it's going to counteract with the wrestling of or the grappling of Picciano. It's going to be forced to be a stand-up battle. I do think Thomas has more well-rounded abilities. It's a close fight though. It's all optics. I could see Billups taking the nod of the judges or Picciano. So close fight, but we'll see. Moving on, we have Eric Nolan versus Alonzo Turner. I think Turner's relentlessness is going to help him. Nolan slows down as the fight wears on, and Turner's a beast. So I do think Turner can get a submission and beat Eric Nolan. I just think Nolan's not very good, and I do think Turner's the guy to show that. Moving on, we have Luke Fernandez versus Peter New. I just think Luke Fernandez is young in his career, but I do think he is talented. I do think he can win this fight. I think he can win this fight easily. He hasn't faced a defeat in his career, and I don't think now's the time. Peter New is 4-2. Has a you know not a terrible record, but I just don't think this is going to be a fight that he's going to win. I do think Luke Fernandez is going to be too much for him. But yeah, we got uh, we got Robert Watley versus Armando Gajata. Gajata, I do think he's training with the right guys to make this interesting. So I'm gonna go with Watley here, but his record is terrible. For that reason, I'm going with Watley, but who he's training with does alarm me. I know they can't fight for him, but it does scare me. Maybe he's changed his game. Who knows? But yeah, guys, my top five picks for CFFC would have to be I have to change that. Uh, I have to say Vericchio. No, Delem number one. Wells number two. Fernandez number three. Mauricio number four, Nakutsa number five. All right, guys, like, subscribe. You know the drill. Um, yeah, guys, I'll just keep getting better. Keep being more productive. It's a busy week, guys. I couldn't get all of them, but I got a lot of them. I'll get LFA when I get to see the weigh-in photos. Until next time, guys. Peace.